The traditional Champions League era is officially over. In its place is a radical new system that rewrites how the biggest club tournament operates. The familiar setup of 32 teams in 8 groups has been entirely scrapped. Now we have a 36-team Swiss model, one unified league table. And the biggest immediate change? Every club now plays 8 guaranteed matches, up from 6. UEFA is pitching this as a massive upgrade. They promise more games, greater variety, and massive heavyweight clashes right out of the gate in autumn. The ultimate prize they are fighting for remains exactly the same, even if the path to get there is now a lot more chaotic. But does this expanded 8-game schedule actually create a better product for the viewer, or is it just a bloated money grab designed to insulate the richest clubs? To survive the noise of this new era, you have to look past the marketing hype. You need to understand the brutal financial math at play and radically change how you invest your viewing time. Under the new draw rules, every team has to play 8 different opponents, with 2 drawn from each of the 4 seeding pots. This setup forces top-tier clubs to clash in the autumn. Take a look at Arsenal's brutal draw. Instead of waiting for the semifinals, we are getting European royalty facing off right away, like Arsenal hosting Real Madrid. But there is a heavy trade-off. We are replacing the traditional home and away group series with single one-off matches against diverse opponents. This chart plots these specific marquee matches by pure entertainment quality on the y-axis versus actual tournament stakes on the x-axis. We can put a game like PSG versus Man City high up on match quality, but we also have to drag that same data point far to the left on the stakes axis. High-quality matches between 2 giant clubs carry very low consequences if both teams are already mathematically safe to advance. Compare that to the old format, where tactical adjustments and narrative tension defined classic 2-legged group stage revenge matches. The new format guarantees blockbuster names on the marquee, but the lack of immediate elimination threat risks turning these giant clashes into low-stakes exhibitions. Then there is the extreme financial divide between the top and bottom clubs, who are now forced to compete in the exact same 36-team league table. You have the billionaire elite. Clubs like Manchester City, PSG, and Arsenal boast squad values of over 1.3 billion euros. You contrast those elites immediately with tournament debutants, who possess a fraction of that wealth. Sabah's entire squad is valued at just 17 million euros. Playing an 8-game Champions League schedule before the end of January creates a brutal physical toll on the players. This graph tracks squad fatigue across the 8 match days. It shows exactly how squad value directly dictates a team's ability to survive this specific attrition rate, comparing a 1.4 billion euro squad against a 17 million euro squad. Billion-euro clubs can rotate international stars to manage their load without dropping points in the early rounds, keeping their performance stable. Smaller squads lack that replacement depth, leading to an inevitable collapse in performance by the critical winter match days. The expanded schedule does not offer underdogs a better chance. It acts as a structural firewall that uses physical attrition to protect elite investments from early upsets. This diagram shows the new qualification math. The top 8 teams advance directly to the round of 16, while teams finishing 9 through 24 are forced into a sudden death playoff round. This creates an intense playoff bubble in the middle of the pack, where mid-tier teams will be fighting for their tournament lives right on the cutoff line. There is an inverse effect at the top of the table. The elite Pot 1 teams will likely secure their top 8 spots by match day 6. That early qualification turns the final 2 match days in January into dead rubber games for the biggest clubs, entirely devoid of real stakes. The promised January climax is actually a 2-tiered system. You get meaningless exhibitions for the elites and a desperate, chaotic scramble for everyone else in the middle. Because the new format is not objectively better or worse, the absolute biggest mistake you can make is trying to watch every single game. This scorecard is a strategic viewing guide based on 3 distinct fan profiles to help you cut out the schedule bloat. If you are a big game hunter, you want to watch the massive Pot 1 clashes during match days 1 through 5, but entirely skip the top-tier matches in January when the big teams are resting players. If you are a tactical purist, ignore the top of the table entirely and focus your time on the Pot 2 and Pot 3 clashes in January, where the true do-or-die tension of the playoff bubble resides. And if you are an underdog supporter, enjoy the spectacle of smaller clubs hosting European giants, but expect a harsh mathematical reality over 8 games. Newcomers like Como are great for local atmosphere, but a lack of elite squad depth will ultimately end their Cinderella runs. By understanding the brutal financial realities and structural math behind UEFA's marketing, you can reclaim your time and invest your attention exactly where the stakes are genuine.